tea Tuesday. It took a little while, but I'm here. Just want to quickly show you this flyer again. I think I showed it last week. I'm doing tarot school every Wednesday night for an hour from I think it's 8 till 9. Anyway, jump on. You can jump onto any of my socials and or my link tree, Alison Bramich, and have a look for tarot school. If you feel like signing up, you can learn some more about how to read cards for yourself. And it's really run by, it's a student-led program. So basically we jump on and I might have some ideas about what I wouldn't mind talking about, but really it's a matter of saying this is what I need to know more about tarot. Help us out, and we go through it together and explore together. So it's very exciting. 1 hour of just digging deep into tarot and then doing a reading, which is always fun. I am sipping coffee, but I do have a tea, and I've realized it's the second time I've had this this herbal tea on because but I just grabbed it because I've been getting random coughing fits, and it's usually, I don't know, it's usually when I least expect it. Like there's no build up to it. I don't feel fevery or like I've got a cold or anything. But so the other day it happened just while I was driving along. I think the windows were up, so I don't know if it was air from the outside triggering it, like pollutant coming through the car window or not. But it was like this kind of like crept up on me cough and tickling deep in the back of my throat. And like there was something in there that wasn't coming out. And then getting that kind of like full feeling in the back of your throat afterwards that takes a little while to shift no matter how much water you drink. And yes, that sort of things happened to me. So once I was in the car, once I was walking through the bush, another time I was in a cafe. So it's just random times, and it's always during the day, but it feels like there's some congestion and something not quite shifting in there. So I'm having an ECSF tea again. It's a very good expectorant, and I feel like I've been drying some. So I got some last time I was up in Castlemaine, and I've been drying it on my windowsill in the kitchen, and I've just been smelling it. And when I was having all these coughing things, I was washing dishes and I was like, what can I do to help shift this? And I was smelling the anise hyssop and I went, that's why you're reaching out to me with your delicious smell. Maybe just what I need. So here we are once again to anise hyssop. I made this one pretty strong actually. It's a very full flavour. I can feel it warming all the way down. It's the beauty of herbal tea. Just kind of like even if it doesn't matter what it is, just that warm water going into your body and just starts to melt and soften everything. And because it goes right past your lungs, it's immediately just there, creating internal warmth and all of that, which is lovely. Thanks, anise hyssop. And thanks to the gardeners at Castlemaine. You know who you are. So today we are working with an oracle deck by Jamie Sams, an amazing voice for her people on the Americas. She's produced some really great things, and the cards are called Sacred. So I did the medicine cards that she put together a few weeks ago, maybe. That's the back of them. They're medicine cards we did. So this is another deck that she's created called the Sacred Path cards with the artist. What's her name? Linda. Sorry, give me a second. I'm not very prepared today. Linda Childers. Linda Childers is the artist of these cards. They're quite bold-looking oracle cards, really strong obviously strong symbolism going on there. Not my forte in terms of symbolism, but we'll see how we go with this. If you're interested in cultures from the Americas, particularly the Northern American continent, get into her. She is incredible. Her writing is amazing and thorough and respectful and really clear to understand. So I would highly recommend it. I've been in nature's communicating in an odd way to me at the moment. I'm feeling like I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect for me personally, and I don't know if it's just me but there's been a lot of things going on, and I don't know if I'm purposely sort of pulling my roots out from where I currently am, or if I'm sort of disconnecting from it from my perspective, or if it's something that is happening, like the land is kind of pushing me out. But yeah, it's been a pretty weird time whenever I'm in a space to really pay attention to what's going on with the natural world. It could also be my experience of the transition, moving from summer to winter, I'm having a lot of material world shifts going on for me personally. So it could be that. I'm wondering if it's that. And also just, anyone that experiences in this part of the world where I am, it's a really distinct and progressive shift from summer to winter. And that's where we are now, autumn. And I was also thinking I haven't gone into deep forest for a while. So that's definitely on the cards, and that would certainly help me reconnect. So we're moving towards a dark moon. It's just after the last quarter, I think, and the moon's in Aquarius, and we've shifted into Aries, I think, since our last tarot and tea. So it's this kind of like astrological new year kind of vibe going on where everything gets another chance to rotate through. If I think about the major arcana, I kind of see that as like a full cycle. And if we're relating it to the major arcana, it's that fool's journey of like at the beginning, the 0 card with the fool jumping off the cliff, like that. I think that's the sort of energetics I'm feeling at the moment with this moon and at this time of year. Is like pull everything in, grab everything that's important, because something big is about to shift, something is about to change. But it's that process of what do I pull in, what do I leave behind, what do I let go of, what do I hold closer, and how do I move forward? Where's the impetus for that? So I'm going to go with that, I think, because I didn't get any questions today. So let's go with that with our reading today. Wait a second. Okay. The storyteller card. This is cool, kind of dull. I don't know if it's easy to see. The word at the bottom there is expansion. Expansion. So one great thing that I love about Jeremy Sams is her poems. So I'm going to read one for this card. She'll write one for every card. Number 29. Just give me a second, because I feel like the symbolism isn't that clear to me with her work, but her words definitely, like I said, they really hit home. So I don't normally use a book, and I won't really, but I'm just going to look at it for this awesome poem here. Okay. So she says, "Sing to me, O ancient ones, of the history of our race, that I may see in my mind the love in every face, and every spirit that came before, the medicine that they made, the sacred tradition they passed to me, so the memory will not fade. O storyteller, be my bridge to those other times, so I may walk in beauty with the ancient rhythm and rhyme. How cool is that? Storyteller. So yeah, that's wow. Telling your own story, listening to other stories, upholding the tradition of storytelling, and that kind of that idea that you know the communication and connection with other people through storytelling. I'm getting all of that. The word at the bottom here is expansion. So I feel like if we need to expand and grow, and I'm thinking about being at that precipice as the Fool that I was talking about before at the start of this new astrological year and these shifts that are happening. If we're at that precipice and we've gathered what we need with us, the momentum to leave, to go, to push in a direction comes from knowing where you've been and what the story is that you've been telling, and how that story is going to continue. And expansion, I guess, when we are able to weave our story into the story of others, into the story of a people, a place, a culture, a family, a tribe, if we can weave our story into the bigger story, the bigger picture that's out there, that is a way for us to grow and also to support growth of other. So it's interesting because I'm turning 50 this year, and I've been thinking a lot about, and I'm a grandmother, and thinking a lot about that generational shift of moving into eldership and what that means for me personally, but also what it means for my community, for my people. And a big part of that is sharing who I've been, how I've been, what I've done, my experiences, so that it's a way of leaving memory behind. If so, for the time that I'm not around, that if I tell my stories enough, I will be remembered in some way. And also, it's a way for me to. Oh God, my sorry. It's a way for me to connect with people. And listen to their story so I can build on my own knowledge and my own understanding, and that's a way of growing and expanding as well. But yeah, that it works both ways. When you're young, and when I was younger and I was raising young kids, they just tell stories all the time. Kids are constantly communicating interesting and weird and wild things, and there's this sort of sense of responsibility as a parent where you kind of you're sort of asked to shape those stories into meaningful things and create structure around them. So, for example, teaching your kid when it's not a good idea to lie, but then you're telling them stories of like a dog that can talk and wears clothes, which is kind of a lie. Do you know what I mean? So there's this thing where I think there's a lot of pressure from when you're very young to start understanding the art and craft of storytelling, what its limitations are, and the expectation that your community has of what storytelling is. And I think it's just it's important that we, as much as we can, keep that open, keep it broad, keep it reduce the limitations that are around it, so that we can be exposed to more and expand into possibilities, maybe more, and open up to more of the depth of people who will not reduce the risk of people limiting what they're sharing with you because they're scared they're sharing in the wrong way. Whereas storytelling shouldn't have that. There shouldn't be that level of fear there. And it's a really creative process too. Like, I'm in the process of writing. I've had a pretty incredible experience since the equinox last week, where I've been doing what's called a Warrior Ways meditation around, so like living your everyday life, but in deep spiritual practice at the same time, around gratitude. And so I'm trying to, I've been having all of these internal processes, thought, like cognitive processes, emotional processes, spiritual ones, physical ones, interactions and relationship kind of processes with, like I was talking about with the land and with animals and water and sky and people and myself, trying to figure out a way to communicate that in this article that I'm writing is taking a lot of, so there's so many different factors at play on how that story needs to be told, because what I really want to do is I want to be able to express in a way that people will understand. So I need to, that's one limitation on the words that I can use and the structure that I need to use, depending on the audience or who I want to be sharing that with. So there's one layer of containment of the creative process, and then then it's about being honorable to myself and not compromising what I'm trying to say to suit what the ears that are hearing it, making sure it's more about my experience being real and raw and honest in that expression. So yeah, there's that interface, that really crazy interface that storytelling brings together. It brings together the voice that's speaking and the ear that's listening, and how, and it kind of like, it weaves together that, what is it, like the interconnectedness of everything. That's how the interconnectedness works. And whether you're using words or, printed words or spoken words into someone's ear, or it's just how you live your life. Like if you broaden that out to, my life is a story that my grandchildren will be telling their grandkids one day, like I'm telling the story of my grandmother to my grandkids. There's that bigger picture of the interconnectedness, so interconnecting generations of people. It's pretty potent stuff, this storyteller thing. And if I'm thinking about, like I was saying before, this idea that we're coming towards this new moon, this opportunity to really hold close what we want to be holding close and jumping off into the next big cycle, I think it's important that we sort of sit, gather, bring people together and tell stories, and really in the way of communicating, you understand what shifts, how you need to be launching yourself to move forward, at what pace, like what you're aiming for when you shoot yourself off the edge of that fool's cliff, maybe even like how you can adjust the narrative that's already being told if you're not happy with certain things, how you maybe can reinforce other parts of the narrative if they're really working for you and you want to expand on those things. But also just in doing that with other people, you get inspiration from other people's stories and they get inspiration from yours. So I think that's our lesson this week, is just tell your story to other people. Tell your story to yourself. Listen to other people's stories. Listen to the stories that are playing out around you in the land and, the natural world that you find yourself in, or the even not so natural world. I mean, storytelling takes place everywhere. So that's what we have to do. Pay attention to the stories that are being told and interact a little bit more deeply with our own. So there you go. Whew. See, potent cards. They're really amazing. Have a great week. Here's to Anise Hyssop and Jamie Sams and the new moon, setting us on a new path of a new story. Cheers.